All right, in this video, I'm going to show you an example of a website that has some basic CSS styling. We start off with a website like this. I've got an H1 tag. I've got a couple other heading tags. Um, I have some paragraphed content. I've got an ordered list. I've got an unordered list. But right now, nothing is styled. I also have this table that I'm going to introduce the table tags as well. But for right now, this HTML document has no styling whatsoever. If I go back to the REPL where you can see the actual code, you'll notice that everything here, aside from this new table, is stuff that you've seen before. I've got heading twos, paragraphs, I've got ordered lists, I've got unordered lists, and I've got a bunch of lorem ipsum, just Latin gibberish, because I'm focused on teaching you the style. I don't really care about the content of this web page. Okay? So, in the style, a common thing that we're going to do if we're going to style a web page is we're going to create a folder that's called CSS. And inside that folder, we're going to create a style.css cascading style sheet. Okay? I've added in this little piece of information to make a comment in CSS. They start with a forward slash and a star, and they end with a star forward slash. So comments are surrounded by those characters. They could be multi-lines like this. Our CSS syntax, remember from the last video, is selector, open curly brace, then a new line, then tabbed in from the selector is a property, then a colon, then a value, then a semicolon. And finally, that block of properties gets closed with a closing curly brace. Okay, so that's our syntax, and you'll see some examples here. What my goal would be is to style this body, everything in our website, everything from this opening body tag all the way down to the closing body tag with a background style or background color of light gray and a font family of serif. A serif is this little end. If you look closely at the top of the T, it has these little lines on the ends. Or if you look at the top of the U, it has these little lines. That's a serif. If you say sans serif, that means without those little lines. So we want to say, okay, let's use the serifs. We're going to make the background light gray for everything. Now in my table, which is this piece of content here, I'm going to use a dark gray background. I'm going to give things a little bit of padding, which will add a little bit of spacing between these elements. We're going to put a border around it, and the border is going to be a solid line that's 1 pixel width. Okay? You can see some things like the T head. I'm going to style the header, which is this top row, to be a little bit bold. It's going to have a font weight that's a little bit bolder, and the font size is going to be 10% bigger than the rest of the font size. Okay? The table data, again, I'm going to add some padding so that things spread out, and we'll see what it looks like. Currently, I have not linked my HTML document to this style sheet. So we're going to go ahead and add that now. In between the opening head and closing head tag, we are going to add a link. The link looks like this, link hyperreference, and then we need to give the path to that CSS document. So CSS folder / style.css. I also need to tell it the relationship. The relationship is a style sheet. I'll close that link. Once I've linked that style sheet, it tells my browser, instead of just giving me this plain black and white text, I want you to use these properties to style my website. So I add in this link to my HTML document, I click run, and my content automatically gets these properties and these values attached to the specific element. So everything in the body has a background color of light gray. Now the table gets a dark gray background. So the dark gray overrides the body because it's more specific. The heading 1 tag says, give me text color property of an RGB 200 That gives me that magenta pinkish color. I told it to make the background of the heading element black. I told it to give some padding left and right of 4%, top and bottom of 2%. That's what gives it this spacing. I told it to give me a border radius that's rounded on the corners. I said to use text align center to center the text. These are all things that I wouldn't expect you to know, but I would expect you to be able to look up by Googling CSS reference and finding either the reference from W3 Schools or the developer.mozilla.org. Okay? You can see here that now that I've applied that style, even my full page website is background of gray. What I'd like you guys to do today is take this website here, which is this REPL. I want you to fork my website, and I want you to add some different styles to an unordered list and the ordered list. So I'd like you to make one of them, I don't know, green and one of them red text. I'd like you to give the paragraphs a background color, and I'd like you to do something with the heading 2s. Okay? I don't care how you style it, but I just want you to add some different style for the things that are not styled yet. Okay? And that's it for today. Go in, play, add some style to different content off of this REPL, and have fun.